And oh boy, we had a great time last night. Funny Bone Clash of the Comics was an event that was going on. Honored to be one of the judges amongst a panel of judges where we have a bunch of folks that went up on stage and they each had 5 minutes. They had 5 minutes to show their funny, folks, and boy did they. Matt Banwart, Joshua Gladstone, Nick Nichols, Cody Tiano, Quinones Berry, Jack Lewis, and Matt Lamb were all there. Bill Blank was hosting the festivities. Willie Farrell went up on stage at the end, and he was entertaining the audience while they were tallying the votes. And boy, it was a close competition. We found out how close it was at the end, but when it all came down to it, they brought everybody back up on stage, and Bill Blank has the announcement as to who won the Clash of the Comics, the March edition.
I've got the envelope, which is a piece of paper folded in half. So our winner tonight, Nick Nichols, everybody. Guys, very much so.
Nick Nichols, there he is in all his glory last night on the stage of the Funny Bone. And one of the things that I don't think, Nick, you guys realize is that when you win Clash of the Comics, we want to bring you in and talk to you on Iowa Live. Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, also joining Nick here in studio is a guy you're very familiar with. We've seen his smiling face not only on stage at the Funny Bone, but here, folks. Sid Juwarker is the winner from what you won in the Clash of the Comics. It
was last fall, like September.
Last fall, yeah. And one of the things about Clash of the Comics, which I'm sure that you're aware of, maybe you folks aren't aware of the fact that when you win Clash of the Comics, part of the deal is you get a gig at the Funny Bone. Explain how that works, Sid.
Well, you won the Clash of the Comics, and now what happens is they get to booked on a show, and you get to host for a traveling comic that's coming in, and it's going to be your first experience getting up on stage at the Funny Bone, basically doing your set up top, hosting the show, and then bringing on the feature, bringing on the headliner, keeping the crowd entertained, closing out the show. So you're basically on stage the entire time at some point, and it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, how different was it for you to take on that role after, you guys are stand-up comics, but you're not professional stand-up comics for full-time gigs, right?
Correct. And like there's a difference between when you start doing open mics at like dingy bars, and then you start doing a little better shows here and there, and once in a while you'll do like events and other shows, but doing a large comedy club like the Funny Bone and having people there with food and drinks who've all paid for tickets sitting there going like, you better be funny. It's like a whole different experience, and it's so cool to just watch it. Lights come on, adrenaline takes over, and it's a whole different experience, man. It's great.
Now, Sid, you're from here.
Yes, I am.
We can see you walking around, right? We see you at the grocery store, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. There you go. But you're not from here. No. Tell everybody your whereabouts.
My hometown is St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis?
Yes, St. Louis, and I currently live in the Kansas City area.
All right, so you made it up here to compete in the Clash of the Comics.
Yes. The Clash of Comics have like 2 spots for out-of-towners, and I got one of them.
There you go. All right, but last night you kind of grabbed the audience last night because I want you to share one of your opening lines from last night, because when you said that, I would just explain to Nick why it resonated so much in Iowa when you mentioned something, because there's some real close personal ties to something you mentioned. You mentioned about the football team.
Yes, and I didn't know about those ties at all. When the Rams left, I just came up with a little opening line. So I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, home of the toasted ravioli, and home of the Los Angeles Rams.
Would be St. Louis, and of course everybody knows the Kurt Warner ties to the St. Louis organization. But you now live in Kansas City.
Yep.
Now, how often do you get up on stage?
I get up weekly.
Do you?
We have like 4 or 5 open mics a week.
Yeah.
So I make sure to try to get up as much as possible to have some fun. And I just like performing. I just like comedy.
How did you get into the world of comedy?
Basically, it was a challenge for myself. I used to be a very shy kid, and
can you see this guy being shy, Sid?
Not at all.
No, I didn't like reading out loud in class, and one day I was like, you know what, I want to do something drastic. And so I did a talent show.
Really? How old were you then?
This was 2013, so I was about 22.
Right. And just going up from there. Now, where in Kansas City do you do the open mics at?
And they have one in downtown, one in the Westport area. So they're pretty much scattered all over the place.
But these are just periodic open mics that you do. What do you do for a living?
Do for a living, I do comedy. I also work at the YMCA.
Do you really?
In Kansas City.
What do you do at the Y?
Before school and after school care.
That is awesome. Yeah, we work really close with the Y here in Des Moines, the Greater Des Moines YMCA.
Okay.
And that's got to be very rewarding for you.
Oh yeah, I just like the idea that I'm able to help with the kids and see them grow and help them develop and build relationships that can be life-changing.
Now, do the kids realize that you're a comedian as well?
No, they don't. But I have a feeling they're going to find out just YouTube.
They will after this show. They will.
They're going to type my name on the internet one day.
And they'll find that out. Sid, tell everybody what you do here in town, because you got a pretty cool gig.
I do. Outside of stand-up comedy, I also work for an engineering firm. So Terracon, #1 engineering firm in the world.
In the world, not just
absolutely,
Des Moines. In the world.
In the universe, maybe. Who knows, But
now, which office are you in?
I'm in the Des Moines office.
Okay, the one just south of downtown?
Correct.
Okay.
Southwest 7th, just off of MLK.
Not too far from where the TV, our show used to broadcast from. The building right next door.
Exactly.
Right.
And, we started in Cedar Rapids, so we're an Iowa company in 1965. Since then, have grown to become a national organization with 140 offices nationwide. So it's pretty cool to just be part of that company.
Now, do they enjoy the fact that you jump up on stage occasionally?
That's the funny part. I always thought I had two separate lives. I got the engineering life, and then I decided I want to be a comedian too. But the response has been so great because my clients come to shows. Some of them are coming tonight.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, awesome.
My office people, like when I do shows, they like buy groups of tickets and come on out.
Wow, that's cool.
And at first I thought like, okay, maybe my jokes wouldn't play well in an office setting, but now everyone's just gotten used to it. So it's been great, man.
Now, you obviously use your employment and some of the experiences you have at Terracon on stage.
Absolutely. Okay. And a lot of it's about, just experiences. I do a lot of material about being a brown man in Iowa because, that's unique. But I do a lot of stuff, with the engineering field too, because it's not exactly known for being entertaining. So
that's why I studied. So yeah.
That's why you studied?
No, that's why I studied. I went to Rolla, Missouri S&T.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, yeah.
That is really cool.
So
we only had 5 minutes, and what the deal is when Clash of the Comics happened, and next time it happens, folks, you really need to come on out and see it, because last night we had, 7 people that were up on stage, and the deal was you had 5 minutes to go up and show your stuff. And they're very conscious of the time, too, and because they want to make sure that you're aware of that. But was it difficult for you? Because one of the words that's used in the description is clean. The clean comedy for 5 minutes. Was that difficult for you, Nick, or not?
No, I'm a naturally a clean person. I just found that that's just me. That's just my personality. And so pretty much when I started doing comedy, I made that extension of myself. And I felt like if I came out the gate being somebody I'm not, it's not gonna last.
Right. Last night, which portion of your 5 minute set do you think really drove home the talent that you have? Which one did you think went the best?
I like the Walmart. When I talk about the Walmart stuff.
Can you explain that to the folks watching
right
right now? Because this was pretty good.
Yeah, how Walmart sell caskets. And so when I found out about
tell everybody about this, because to be honest with you, the judges that were up behind the back of the room, when you said that, we went, Walmart sells caskets? Because we didn't really know that.
Yeah, Walmart.
Real?
Yeah, Walmart sells caskets.
We looked it up afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people fact checked it when I said it on stage. I see people on their phone looking. I'm like, I'm not lying. I'm not gonna make that up. And I just talk about how all these stores are closing. Payless closing, Toys R Us, Kmart. I heard Victoria's Secret shutting some stores down. It's like Walmart not going anywhere because people just love Walmart. They can sell anything and people will buy it. The fact that they sell caskets and they selling for a reason. Somebody's buying it. Exactly. Somebody's keeping them in business with the casket game.
But they don't have them in the store, though.
Yeah, you can only order those caskets online.
Oh, man, I was hoping for a casket aisle.
Yeah, and that's what I talk about. Yeah, I talk about the casket aisle. And
what would happen with the casket aisle?
Yeah, and I just talk about how people would try caskets on. And, or I didn't get to it because of time, but I have a bit about the shopping, how you throw stuff you don't want in your cart anymore, just throw it out. So you just find caskets everywhere, all over. So it was just everything you do with regular items, people just do it with a casket.
Yeah, but it's good stuff, and a lot of people can relate to that, so that worked. Well, we just wanted to bring you on the show and just say thank you for your entertainment last night. Very well done. And did they give you an indication as to when you're coming back?
gonna send me some dates and what Thursdays they have available, and then once they let me know, I'll let you all know. I'm gonna be on my social media.
Definitely want to have you back too. So great job out of you. But Sid, you're working tonight and this weekend because somebody pretty big is coming to the Funny Bone tonight. In case you haven't heard, why don't you tell who's going to be here?
You know, tonight there's one show, and Saturday, that's tomorrow, we have 2 shows. And this comic, it's just an honor and a privilege to be opening for Emo Phillips. And if you don't know Emo Phillips, you're about to, because Emo Phillips, once you see Emo Phillips, you can't unsee him. You know what I mean?
Never, ever forget him.
No, and it doesn't matter if you think he's the most hilarious comedian you've ever seen, you're going to find Emo Phillips funny. What you're going to definitely do is remember Emo Phillips for the rest of your life. He makes an impression.
And you said you're nervous about this, which I can't believe Sid, you're nervous.
I know, sometimes
you're nervous about anything.
I've loved Emo Phillips since, like, I don't know, the early 90s. And I don't know a lot of comedians right now who haven't done anything stupid that I still have like so much love for, that aren't like, you know, huge or whatever. But I've had Emo Phillips's albums, you know. It's just one of those things where it's like, I always never considered him a person I would be standing in the same room with. And is that a stage persona, or is that how he is in normal life? And I'm kind of freaking out.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you, because we've had a chance to work with him in the past. But I'm going to let you discover that on your own.
Okay, good.
But seriously, this is a legend. This is a comic legend.
Absolutely. And you know, like, some of the stuff he did was like, it's somewhat like, people are used to it now, like the Paris Prusdokian sort of speak, which is, for those aren't familiar with it, it's when the latter part of a statement sort of changes the meaning for the first part. So like the late Mitch Hedberg was a famous one. He said something like, like I haven't slept in 10 days or something like that, because that would be too long. Or, you know, like so he does that a lot, but he does this with this falsetto. And he's just a weird dude, and it's so cool to just watch him. And I'm looking forward to that. And that's kind of why I'm nervous, because if he's a different person than I know on stage and he's in the green room, he's like, "What's up, Sid?" I'm just gonna freak out.
No, maybe he'll leave saying, "That Sid is a pretty nice guy."
Oh, I hope so, man. This is gonna be an honor, and I hope everyone in Des Moines comes out this weekend, because you really don't want to miss Emo Phillips when you have an opportunity to see him. And I'm just absolutely honored to be on stage with him.
That works. 1 show tonight, 2 shows tomorrow.
Correct.
And get to see Sid perform as well. Perfect. That works. Nick, congratulations again, man. Thank you so much.
Thank
Sid, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Good to see you, man.
Appreciate
All right.
you.
Don't go too far, folks. We come